Right. Good afternoon. Welcome. My name is Danny Wirtz. I'm the chairman and CEO of the Chicago Blackhawks. I'd like to thank you all for being here on this exciting day, historic day for our organization, as we officially introduce Nick Foligno as the next captain of the Chicago Blackhawks. In preparing for today, I found myself thinking a lot about not only the role of the captain in the National Hockey League, but also what it means to us here in Chicago. As we approach our centennial season next season, we reflect back on the many captains that we've had over the years and the traits that made those captains great, and a few things come to mind. A captain is someone who commands respect from his own teammates as well as his opponents. A captain always sets the tone for the team, leading by example both on and off the ice. And a captain is committed to making those around him better, both as hockey players and as people. These were the qualities of Stan Mikita, Pierre Palat, Dirk Graham, Daryl Sutter. These are also things that made Chris Chelios and Dennis Savard stand out, both of whom are with us today, and we're honored to have them here. Captains turned team ambassadors. And of course, our most recent captain, Jonathan Toews, who was the perfect embodiment of a captain. He knew how to inspire his teammates, how to lead by example, and how to win. And just like the best leaders do, he made sure everyone else in the locker room knew too. Which brings me to the reason we're all here today. In a very short time, Nick has earned the respect of his fellow teammates, his coaches, and everyone else on our staff. He's a natural leader whose commanding presence is impossible to miss, and his wealth of experience gives me and our entire organization the confidence that he is the perfect person to help guide this team as we continue to take steps forward. I have the utmost trust in Nick, and I'm both excited and grateful for the role he's going to play in shaping the future of this club. And with that, I'd like to now introduce and welcome General Manager Kyle Davidson to say a few words.
Thank you, Danny, and appreciate everyone coming here today as we introduce Nick as the new captain of the Chicago Blackhawks. Before I do say a few words about Nick, I'd like to first recognize our most recent captain, Jonathan Toews. The leadership he displayed with the Blackhawks has truly redefined the blueprint for what a great captain can be, both here in Chicago and around the NHL. His legacy with us and what he means both to our organization and to our fans is second to none, and we can't thank him enough for the incredible foundation that he laid in his time here with the Blackhawks. As many of you noticed, Nick very quickly established himself as a leader within our locker room, earning the respect and trust of coaches and teammates from the moment he stepped foot in the organization. One of the things that stands out to me about Nick, and what made this such an easy decision to name him captain, is that the passion that he brings to the rink every single day. He's passionate about our team, our players, and our staff, and he genuinely cares about everyone in the locker room. Furthermore, he has remarkable ability to connect with people in ways that go far beyond hockey. Nick is also the type of person who truly knows what it means to lead by example. What makes him such an important piece to our group is not just having the ability to lead, but his innate understanding of what the team needs to hear and when they need to hear it. He can motivate and push his teammates at the exact right times, and he not only knows what it takes to win, but also how to deliver a message that resonates across all ages and experience levels. It's not just what he brings on the ice or in the room that makes Nick such a perfect fit for this role. I often talk about how our successes off the ice are just as important as our successes on the ice, and Nick truly takes this to heart. He's committed to enriching the lives of others in the community. His character, leadership, and tireless work through his own charitable endeavors has earned him both the Mark Messier Leadership Award and the King Clancy Memorial Trophy in years past. He's the true embodiment of the values that our organization holds so dear. And with that, we couldn't be more proud to name Nick Foligno the 35th captain in Blackhawks history.
My hair was
yours good? Oh, baby. Looks good. Is this on? Yeah.
Yep.
Just before we start, I just wanted to say a few words. First of all, to the Words family and Danny, thank you very much for this amazing honor. To Kyle and the management staff and organization, thank you as well. And also to the coaches and players. Having been a captain before, I know it means nothing unless you have a group that's trusts you and is willing to follow you. And more importantly, we do this together. And I'm truly grateful to this organization for putting that belief in me. And I don't take that lightly. And I think being a historian of the game myself, I've seen what's come here before me, and Mr. Chelios and Mr. Savard, and obviously a great captain in Jonathan Toews and that leadership group. And I'm humbled and honored to take this on, this responsibility, and grow this to where this fan base and this organization expects to go, and do this, like I said, together with this great group of guys in front of me here as well. So. Thank you very much for this tremendous honor. My family and I are thrilled, and we're excited to get going.
This is for either one of you. Hi, sorry.
Hi, sorry.
Good to see you again. When did this really become a serious discussion in terms of, okay, this is the route we want to go?
Yeah, it's probably me. You found out the other night.
I found out the other day, so.
you didn't make that call. This was something that, again, like, if you're around the team last year, I think everyone felt it. It felt very much like Nick was one of the main voices in the room. But realistically, it didn't start until the off season. We had committed to not playing with the captain last year, and so we just kicked that can down the road and started those discussions, I'd say, over the summer once we started planning for the lead up to this year, and if this was a path we wanted to go, and in the end we decided it was. And so at some point this summer I would say we started discussing it.
Nick, last year you kind of developed organically with the leadership group and figured it out on the fly. Knowing going in this year that you have the captain role, have you thought about kind of how you'll approach things any differently, or kind of what your plan is as captain and leader of this team?
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, it's not going to change anything as far as how I'm going to go about my business. The one thing I learned, probably in being captain before, I had all these ideas of how we're going to move my team forward and all these plans. And that year, which hopefully it doesn't happen, but we started 0-8, and you're like, all right, we're throwing all that out the window. And you realize quickly, leadership isn't about that. It's not about mapping out. It's making connections and understanding your team and what the wants and needs are at that time, and having a vision of where you're trying to go. Absolutely. And we're trying to win hockey games, and that's always my goal. But there's so much more that goes into that. So now that we have our leadership in place, which I always felt like we did, we know who the leaders are in this room, and together we're going to continue on the path that we started last year, and the mandate that we have for ourselves. And I thought today's camp was a great start in that direction, and seeing how guys came in and were prepared to make a difference, and that's all you can ask for. And now, with the help of a lot of the guys in the room, we're going to go to work, and we're going to figure out how to move this to the place that we want to get it to. And being the team that's hard to play against every night, has that tenacity, that understanding of what it is to be a Chicago Blackhawk, is what I've talked about. And playing against this team for a lot of years when they were championship caliber teams, that's what you felt. You knew you were in for a tough night, and we want to get to that. We're proud players in here. This is a proud organization, as I've seen since I got here, and we want to make sure we mimic that on the ice and off the ice. And that's where I think you really are going to start to see this team grow this year.
Hey, Nick, have you connected at all with Toews in recent days, and what significance is it for you to be following him?
Yeah, I reached out to him. We haven't connected yet. Obviously I want to talk to him and just have that conversation. But I know. I said it earlier. I know what he's meant to this organization, and I said it, he's a pillar that this organization stands on, obviously, with what he's done. And I admire it, because we both got drafted the same year, and to see what he was able to accomplish at such a young age, and honestly take on the leadership role at such a young age in an original six team in a market like this. It's admirable, and something as a player from afar I'd watch and I'd learn and appreciate. The one thing I'm going to make clear is that there's no shoes to fill. That's been done. That'll never be touched, and his legacy will live on for a very long time. But what I'm excited about is this is a new era, so to speak, and it's about growing this team to that direction and understanding that we have a lot of great players coming. There's an exciting group of players coming, an exciting group of players we have this season that I'm really proud to lead with a handful of guys here, and I'm honored to do so. So it's about building that the way I know how, and I think maybe because I'm older, I'm not worried about trying to hold a candle to that, and I'm confident in who I am and what I can do for this team, and also with the help of these guys. So that's where I'm really excited about getting to work with and appreciate everything that Jonathan's done, and he's given us a hell of a blueprint in order to do so, and we'll hopefully get back to the years where he had a lot of success here, and hopefully we will too.
Nick, at the end of last season, I think we were in LA, you really, at the end of that game, really asserted how you wanted this team to look and the personnel you felt you needed. That felt like the first time you were really talking as a captain, and Kyle listened. You went out and got the kind of players you were talking about. How different is it going to be leading this team? This is going to be a much older, much more veteran team. Only a few of the young guys are probably going to make the team. And do you feel the pressure of that? The team kind of listened to you, and now you have to follow through on it.
Yeah, I don't think that I'll ever. That doesn't work like that. But I appreciate that. We had those conversations, and I think we all felt that there was an opportunity here to grow this team in the way that we envision this team needing to go. And obviously last year was disappointing on a lot of fronts. But now I think with the mix of players, I'm excited that there might not be so much teaching in the professional side and more of an understanding of how we're going to play and how we're going to assert ourselves in games. And I think through having, and I was lucky, I'll speak to my own experience, and that's the reason why I probably said it, is I came into a very veteran team in Ottawa, and I'm so thankful looking back and how impressionable that was on me, because I didn't have, I got firsthand views of what it meant to be a pro, of how to play, how to consistently compete every night, the standard that they wanted to get to. They were coming off a Stanley Cup finals that they lost. So the learning on the fly that I got from just being in the room, I think is what's given me the career that I've had today. And I'm thankful every day that I got to experience that room and the high standard that those guys played at and expected everyone to come in at. And I think that's what I'm excited about for our young guys in our room and for our group, is that we're going to have this standard that is expected to be met each and every day. And there's no dipping below that. And if you are, you're going to hear about it. And if anyone is, it's not just young guys, it's older guys. There's an understanding now, hey, you've played in this league a long time. You know what's expected of you and what you're brought in to do. And I think that when you can identify roles and when you can own your role, it's amazing how a team comes together and the bond that we're going to create as a group. And it's going to be really special to see how quickly this group comes together and the progress of some of these young guys that I'm really excited to see coming up.
Hi, Nick. You kind of alluded to this earlier, but I'm wondering if you might elaborate a little bit further. Unusual to be a two-time captain on two different teams in the NHL. What did you learn the first time around when you were the captain in Columbus that you think you might apply this time around when you're captain in Blackhawks?
You learn a lot and you evolve. I think just being older and a little more confident in the years and experience. But I think the one thing I learned, and I mean it's been evident in my life, is relationships. I really felt like the only way I really got to motivate and move our team was when I really dug into the heart of each and every player. And that's something I was really proud of. By the time we really got things growing and going in Columbus, we had a hell of a team that was really close, that was on the verge of some greatness. And it's sad it kind of fell apart, due to contracts and certain things. But I learned that how crucial that part is. And really it allows everyone to understand what their role is in the team and why. And that's such an important aspect, I think, in leadership is you can tell someone something, but you have to make them understand why. And I'm looking forward to doing that with this group. And this is why we're doing this. This is where we're trying to go. This is who we're trying to become. And this is why your role is so important on the team. And when guys take ownership of that, honestly, you grow leaders because of that. Now they're coming in like, you know what, I'm responsible for this part of the team and helping us grow. And it's going to be really neat to see how some of these guys flourish, hopefully, in that environment. And I saw it with some of the young guys we had in Columbus, and I'm excited about putting that together with you know, I got to work with Seth a long time, and he tried to get away from me, and I got back to him. But and I'm excited to do that again because I think he knows what we're trying to do there and felt that. And I've obviously known Murph a long time, got to know Halsey and all these guys that are good pros and understand being in great organizations, what that entails. And so I'm looking forward to getting to work and having a lot of guys on the same page and understanding that how key the relationship aspect is and how important we need to grow that and be that tight-knit unit that really always translates right onto the ice because of it.
Nick, and then maybe Kyle, you can weigh on this as well. This is me,
right
sorry.
here. It's hard to see where the mic is.
Yeah. No.
Plus
Tony's,
this thing's huge.
Tony's blocking me now.
Yeah.
No, he's not. When we talked to some of the free agent acquisitions and some of the prospects, they kept mentioning how, you know, you reached out to them over the off season. It became like a running gag almost. You know, I talked to Nick Foligno. Kind of a two-part thing. Do you have some sense of how many guys you talked to over the offseason? And if not trying to search for people you referenced earlier as identity pieces, were you trying to sell guys you thought could be identity pieces on the organization?
Yeah, I mean, I think part of anything is when you come into our organization, you want to feel how welcome you are first and foremost. And so, you know, reaching out to the draft picks, and I think it's an important part of being a teammate, right? You want to show them that they're cared about. There's a responsibility to be a Chicago Blackhawk and make them feel welcome and know that it matters, right? Like whether you're the first overall pick or the 150th, you have a place in this organization. And I think that's just about building the bond and growing the relationships that I talked about. And, you know, and then reaching out to free agents. I mean, it's just part of, I think I'm just old and I know a lot of guys, and you know, you start to get to know who people are that, and like I talk about, their hearts, where their minds are at, their professional careers, and you want to be around those guys. And, you know, I couldn't be more excited about the people that Kyle went out and got, and, you know, and being able to reach out to them after we signed and saying, hey, this is what we're trying to do here. And they're excited. They're, you know, having those conversations about why they're coming or you know, the opportunity they might have, and you know, and making them feel a part of it. That's the most important thing. If you can, like I talked about, if you can feel ownership as soon as you come to a team, you're going to feel a sense of belonging, and it kind of makes you work that much harder to want to make an impact when you get here. So that's the messaging behind it, and I'm sure I drove my wife nuts being on the phone so much this summer, but it was worth it.
Yeah, I can add that, you know, from our perspective, you know, Nick has played with a lot of players, and you know, if we need, you know, a little bit of his take on you know, guys he's played before, you know, play with before, it's a great resource to reference and just to get a little bit of information that maybe we don't get from our front office staff or our scouting staff on players. So it's a great area to go to if you can find someone with firsthand knowledge of a person and a player, and then to have someone reaching out to, you know, of Nick's stature, reaching out to, you know, new prospects and young players and welcome them to the organization. It makes their transition into the Blackhawks family that much more seamless, and it really drives home the family culture that we're trying to build here. So.
Nick, how do you've talked about the room that you came into in Ottawa and how that influenced your career still. How do you find a balance between paying it forward to the next generation and the young guys, and then also going about the business of being a hockey player and leading and playing the way that you do?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm way too competitive to give in to anything. So that's important. I think you have to walk the walk before you can ever talk the talk, because they have to know that you're in it with them, that you're doing everything you can to perform at the highest level before they're going to listen to anything, right? That's just the reality of it. And but I think for me, it's just balancing that understanding of what we're trying to do and the why that goes into it. And I think if guys feel the why and they understand that part, then all the other stuff falls into place. So I know what we're building here and who's to come, and I'm really encouraged by the attitude that I've already seen in this camp. The guys that are coming in, they want to be a part of what we're trying to build, and that gets you excited, because if you can grow the future and grow great leaders, I always say, like, if you can leave it better than you found it, that's a great compliment to the leadership group that was there before you. And that's what we're going to try and do here. It's about making this organization last a long time, be contenders for a long time. And I'm competitive as hell, and I want to win right now. And we're going to do everything we can to do that. But it's putting ourselves in a position to be competitors and Stanley Cup contenders for years to come. And you do that by making sure the younger players and the guys who are going to be here for a while understand their role and how they can grow into becoming the leaders that you want them to become those days. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.